The year is 2012, 2025. This is very authentic depiction of what everything looks like. Is this the practice plan I'm writing? Am I talking to someone? What's the squeaky noise in the background? Because like this is a bunch of stuff that I like accumulated since like post-pandemic. And like I do like to hold on to things because I'm nostalgic. The regionals pass.
That's so cool.
Silver.
Nice.
So I've got my like World Cup pass and the qualifiers pass. Manifested. That's what I wanted.
You're really good at manifesting. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I feel really intense about roller skating.
Hi, I'm Mean Bean, and this is Skills on Wheels, a talk show about roller skating.
Harding, also known as Jenna, is a roller derby player and coach with the Ottawa Valley Roller Derby League and Toronto Men's Roller Derby. She has also played with the New Kids on the Block from Montreal and played with them in the 2024 Northeastern Regional Finals. She also recently represented Canada on the world stage in Innsbruck, Austria at the 2025 Roller Derby World Cup. She also played with Toronto Men's Roller Derby for the North American qualifiers for 2025 for the MRDA.
Thank you so much, Harding, for coming on the show.
I'm very happy to be on the show, and I'm very happy that you're here at my house.
Thank you for the invite.
How did you get started in roller derby? I was recruited at a touch football game.
And I had been playing for like 10 years, very competitively.
My style of playing sports is that I'm very intense. I go for what I want. In football, it's the ball. So if I'm playing offense or defense, I'm always going for the ball. Like, I don't want to have to tag you. I want to have to get the ball. So I would just like collide with people all the time. And, I collide with people, they fall. And then somebody on the side of me was like, hey, you should play roller derby. She puts the email in my hand. It was
Bella, who then changed my life,
who used to be the president of Capital City Derby Dolls,
which was one of the 3 leagues in Ottawa at the time.
So I went to an open house, and then I went to their 101 program, September 2012. Okay.
2013, passed my min skills. You know what really held me back was the 25 and 5.
You said it took you a while to learn how to roller skate. It doesn't sound like that's a long time.
I was committed. It doesn't seem like a long time when you put it in perspective of September 2013 to, I guess, the spring the next year, but
yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I worked hard at it.
I was doing that.
Well, I would put on my skates at home. I got roller skates for my birthday. I'm a November baby. The program started September, so I was using the rentals. And so on my birthday, my mom gave me one roller skate and she thought it was hilarious. And I was like, haha, I'll show you. So I was like, I'm gonna roller skate in one skate around your house. Immediately fell on my butt. So my aunt's like, let me go get your other skate. But yeah, now I'm gonna like tear up your floors.
And then by that summertime, I
went on to play the B team and
the Delinquents. When I also still played with the Delinquents, may have become like a alt for the Dolly Rogers. 2015, I was maybe playing competitively, like full time. We started to really like become something, I think 2016, because we started going to like tournaments. We got our WFTDA somewhere between 2016 and 2018. This timeline to me, a blur. There was just so much Dolly Roger games and fun. When I played with the Dolly Rogers, that's when we had Kyo Kenzie, we had Bella, we had Ashley Ronson, who was like Watch Your Ash. She was a phenomenal skater too. We had Tank, and do you know who Big Papa is with Tri-City right now? They skated with us too. It was like a solid group.
Daddy. What's funny about the Team Canada process is that it's something that goes on, it goes way back, like in 2017 or so. I mean, and I always tell myself, like, this is a goal I have, it's something I'm going to do, and I don't care what it takes, I'll get there.
I tried out. I didn't make it, but my awesome friend Renee Labrosse made it.
Does she still play?
No. After Labrosse played with Team Canada, she actually transferred to the Skids during that time.
Oh.
And Kenzie went with her kind of like during this like 2019 time. So Renee and Kenzie.
Mama?
I like that.
What's more speed?
You want to smell this?
Yeah, sure. I'll smell. Ooh, lovely.
There you go. Strawberries? Yeah, so they ended up going to Montreal together. It was a hard time in Ottawa when they left. I know that our coach was kind of saddened by it. Like a lot of people thought like, okay, if you want to play a high level roller derby, if you want to like get to playoffs or champs, maybe we have to get going to Montreal. Like for people who live in Ottawa, 2 hours is not that bad. And like part of me really wanted to go with them at the time, but when I looked at my work schedule, it was just not possible. So it was just not in the cards then, but I'm so glad that they got to do it because they got to do champs in Montreal. So I remember going to champs and celebrating for them. It was great. But then I think it was 2018, the merger was like in talks.
We had like sports performance coaches coming in, like sports psychology, individuals coming in to support the team with like our merger with OVRD when it formed. And I remember at one point, like Jess Bandit came to talk to our team and we talked about goal setting, and I wrote this email and I found it recently in like my Google Drive being like, part of my like steps to getting to Team Canada is maybe I'll go practice in Montreal and see if I can do drop-ins like a couple of times a year, just so I can be exposed to like the higher level skills and intensity. So it's really funny to find that email after going to play with Montreal for a bit. It's kind of like I exceeded my expectations in a way. So it's something I always wanted. And when I want something, I'm pretty intense about it. And I don't know, like, but being able to go and train at that level, and I picked up so many new like philosophies and skills, and just like being physically challenged consistently, it made a huge difference. 2019, RBRG, CCDD became. And funny story about that, we were like thinking about naming the league, and then there was a questionnaire, and I actually submitted Ottawa Valley Roller Derby, and then it got voted in.
Oh,
which is very appropriate because now, like, I'm literally living in the valley with Katie. We're run through Ottawa. It's truly like a valley team now.
When the merger was happening between CCDD and RVRG or RVRD, tell me a little bit about that merger and how that process went.
I feel like that was so long ago that a lot of it feels like a blur. But with anything, if I don't remember all the details, I have my takeaways. We had this guy, Chris Rose, at one point, and two things that I took away was telling yourself, like, what's important now, and that's also coincides with what's next. In any context, in Derby, if you're doing well, if you're mid-jam, if it's been hard, what is important now? Instead of, like, dwelling on mistakes or, like, being more nostalgic about what happened and what it could be like. It's like, you gotta be in it right now. What is important now? And what can you focus on? I know statements. I wasn't there for this particular party, but I did get my like card of like, I know things like, I know that when I lose the jammer, Harding will be right there to recycle and catch them. Or I know that this person has, you know, an amazing endurance as a jammer. Reiterating that, like, no matter what, through hardships and doubts, there are fundamental things that you know about each other, and you can really like lean on that and trust each other. Fundamentally, I know that we're all here committed and loving sport. Like at the end of the day, what does it matter if you win or lose? Like we're a bunch of people doing something silly and having fun, and that's a privilege. I actually haven't opened this box in so long. I forgot I had it. So this is 2016. I think this was when I played against the Sexpos for the first time. I got this when I played with the Dolly Rogers against, I want to say Rideau Valley, because I remember Maggie got one. I remember taking a picture with Maggie. We both had these little dorky chicks that I love. I guess that was Beaver Fever. Oh, this is a Montreal Roller Derby one.
Oh, very cool.
Midwest Brouhaha 2017. I think that was like the Dolly Rogers first WFTDA game. I think that was in Milwaukee. And we played the Alaskan team. They were insane. This was the most feared on the track in 2015. I still have that.
Still true.
That was a pretty hefty hit from 420. That is Harding. Harding is also recently back from their trip at World Cup, playing for Team Canada. And after that hit, you can absolutely see why.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cute. Look at that. It's a Toronto men's roller derby pin. This is another like Montreal one. MVP blocker 2018, roller derby masculine MVP blocker 2017. I would play with the Slaughter Squad and play against the men's team of the time. They had a really good men's team at the time too. I remember when OVRD, we hosted an MRDA tournament, and it was the first and only time I was like a jam timer. I was so nervous of messing it up. Just because like Vancouver Murder was there and like Toronto was there. Montreal too. Yeah, very intense tournaments. And I didn't mess it up. We were going to go to Arizona in 2020. That was going to be an awesome tournament. And I remember we were going to come back and it was going to be Team Canada tryouts. Felt like I was in like a really good position, like physically, gameplay wise, and felt like I was going to have a good tryout. And yeah, 2020. Womp womp.
Wow, so pretty.
So this is like the sad times,
Yes.
but I was here happy at home. So December 2021. Juniper was born. It's the end of the year. So then 2022 ended up being like the whole year of being like a new mom, which I loved.
Did a whole year of like, I did Muay Thai and like jujitsu, but that was like down the street. So it was really accessible for me when I had an infant at home. But then once it was back to contact, I was all in.
And then it was 2022. I think we started practicing maybe in the summertime. This was a really intense part of my life because we were still so sleep deprived. Me waking up in the night and I was always pumping. I'm a very like stubborn person. When I decide I'm doing something, I make it happen. And when I was pregnant, I was like breast milk all the way. I was like, I'm going to be somebody who can pump out extra so I can donate some. So I actually spent like all of 2022 pumping at all hours of the clock. Like I'd wake up just to pump. And yeah, I ended up donating like 3 loads of breast milk to the one hospital that's based out of like the GTA.
So you were pumping while playing roller derby?
Yeah, I started playing, I think in the summer or early fall. And yeah, I didn't stop pumping until like January 2023.
Getting hit in the chest must have hurt like hell.
Yeah, it
Damn.
wasn't great. And some of my sports bras have stings now from breast
Fair,
milk.
yeah.
It is what it is. We have to time it. Okay, Katie's going to be here at like this time. I'm going to spend the 30 minutes before she gets here. I'd have 20 minutes to pump and then 10 minutes to kind of like make sure I was ready to go.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like get it all out as opposed to practice. And then I come home like get hygienic and I'd pump again. I remember getting like the thank you card from the hospital. It had a picture of like a sick baby on it. I just bawled,
Oh.
you know? But it was like the right thing to do because I could do it.
So when we came back from the pandemic, there like most leagues were doing no contact. And so I opted to skate for a little bit, but then I took time off again because like I had my daughter December 2021. And Toronto is like had kicked up again doing contact, and there's a lot of skaters in Toronto that I really admire, like Spencer Sleep and Senior Wiener and D-Ray. Like they're all great skaters and great teammates to have. And then there were just bonus teammates that I didn't know I loved yet, which was the best part. So like I ended up being asked by somebody here in Ottawa to go, and I went to a practice, and then
Come 2023, that's when I started playing with TMRD. I think I went to my first practice with TMRD. It was either late December or early January. And it was around the time I was trying to wean myself off of pumping. Like she didn't need it anymore. And like I needed to try getting sleep back. But oh my gosh, being like the day I went to my first TMRD practice, I got up at 3 a.m. to go to Toronto. The things we do are crazy. It's hard, but I'm doing what I love. I'm going to go do roller derby practice. And I knew it was going to be harder than like how OVRD practices were going to be. And I was really excited, like the prospects of the challenge and everything, and like seeing like skaters I've always admired because like pre-pandemic, I also like, I loved playing with the Slaughter Squad, but then when it came down, they got MRDA. I couldn't do both WFTDA and MRDA. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to stick with WFTDA. I ended up coaching the Slaughter Squad for, I think, a year. And took them to a tournament, and you know Toronto would come, and Toronto was at that tournament, so like I've seen them play so many times, and like so many great skaters. So like going into TMRD practice, I was very excited but very exhausted. waking up at 3, meeting with my carpool for like 4:30 in the morning, getting to practice. It started at 10. It was a 3-hour practice, so that's why we're like, it's worth it. It's 3 hours of roller derby, and then we drive home. It was a lot.
By like February 2023, I went to Denver to play my first game post-pandemic, postpartum, and we ended up playing like Team Colorado. We played Puget Sound. We also played Denver Ground Control.
It was awesome. It was hard because of the altitude, but it was cool because I actually got to stay at Misty Maven's house.
It was just a funny experience to have, like, hey, I'm gonna go play roller derby again. And my first experience getting into a game was like, we played 3 games in the high altitude, and I'm just trying to be like really chill at Maven's house. We slept in the basement and hung out a little bit. Like, she drove me around Denver, and we listened to Panic at the Disco, which was really nice. And she was a really, really nice person.
Was Misty Maven also play in the NRDA?
No, but she was coaching Denver Ground Control at the time. Early 2023, I think, is when we did Team Ontario. And like, I did do some rapids during that year too, right?
And you didn't do Team Ontario before, right?
That's right. And it's something I always wanted to do. I remember when I went to Global Champs in Montreal, I saw Santa Muerte, who was playing for Tort at the time, and the both of us were like, let's get Team Ontario started. And it was something we really wanted to do, but then pandemic hit. I'm thankful that Ziggy got it going again, and I'm really grateful that experience too with Team Ontario, because it really did bring so many different leagues in Ontario together. And there's a lot of friendships that you're missing because people move away a lot, and like from Ottawa to Toronto and like all the GTA, like a lot of people bounce around. So it's fun to be able to skate with certain people again, or you skate with people that you would have played before. Like, I remember I played V8 all the time. Like, she skated with Orangeville when, you know, I was Dolly Rogers or OVRD All Stars, and then suddenly like, she's a teammate. And like, those are really cool experiences to have. And then also we got to know a lot of people that I didn't know at all before. So I'm really grateful for that experience, and it was a good challenge during the time it was before skids too.
This is like the really cool roller skate that's made like origami that I got when I was like the MVP jammer of that Team Ontario game.
Nice.
That made me feel like I was going to die.
Yeah.
Survived that.
On Monday, we stopped in at Low Life, but then there was like this whole chat about like what Montreal needs right now. And like, Maj is so hard to read sometimes, but if she's joking or not, because she's like, we need jammers. I'm not coming to Montreal to jam. Like, I am not a skids jammer. Well, if I decided like I actually wanted to do it and I could train to be a jammer, I know I could do it. In my heart, I know I could do it. But like, I don't want to. It was like, I said to Maj and Cheese, it's like, I did 1 game in a 4-jammer rotation on the fly. I never trained as a jammer in practices. Like, I'll jam sometimes as needed, and I was always a relief. But like, being a pivot, I'm like, I'm trying to like work on that skill. But like, I got thrown in at that Team Ontario game, and that made me feel sick for 3 days. Like, my core, especially postpartum, I just like, my core muscles are not the same as they used to be. And like, I did the whole like natural birth, like I'm pushing, and I powered through that. So my core, not the same. So I said to Cheese and Maj, is like, I feel so sick. I was like, I think if I jammed with the skids, I would feel sick for a whole week after a game. She's like, so what? It's only a week. I gotta live my life. A week of feeling sick, it makes a difference in my lifestyle. So we're not gonna touch that.
At some point, you were coaching OVRD too, right?
I was head trainer for a while.
As a coach, considering how intense you are and how competitive, you're so nice to people who are like not good at derby. I'm a very intense player, and like when I'm skating with like the adrenaline, yeah, I know how scary and intimidating that looks for some people. I've heard all about it. I've seen footage, and like I can agree that if I was objectively somebody taking my hits, that kind of sucks. There are people who vomited from some of my hits, and they're not always hits that I'm like, I'm not going to ruin someone's day. But like, if a jammer's coming full speed and just like with my mass and my size, sometimes it's just like physics when they skate and a certain part of their body hits my shoulder. Oof. How am I supposed to like build up the sport to be something everybody loves if I'm gatekeeping? You don't have to be as intense as me to enjoy the sport. And like, you don't have to train and commit the hours I was committed to like just play. Like, House League is wonderful because you get to choose the level you want to play at. And like, yes, it's like kind of a mixed bag with like fresh and people who have been skating for years who could like keep up on travel teams and everything. But that's part of the community. It's something we can do, and we should be grateful that we can do it. And everyone has a place to enjoy it. Even if you love it and it's not like travel team level, it still comes with challenges, like both like on skates, off skates, personal challenges. Not everybody needs to be friends in roller derby, but it's great when we are. And when we're not, how are we still respecting each other in those moments when we come together? And I remember this specific comment from Whips about how like we're all colleagues and there's still like a level of HR work culture. If someone's coming to my practice that I'm leading, I want them to feel like they've learned something, and I want them to feel like that excitement of learning something new, or if they got a piece of feedback that was very specific to them, because I know that when I was starting to learn to skate, I don't feel like I always got the most personalized feedback, and sometimes you would go looking for feedback and you'd almost get generic things that maybe felt easy to say to somebody. I don't want to sound like I didn't appreciate the advice that I did get, but I found like most of my skill building and awareness came from going other places to train and seeing things. Like my own observations, I felt like helped me grow more. Yeah, I always found like coaching actually helps me process things, and they say like you learn things better when you teach others as well, right?
Yeah.
I started coaching 101 first.
I'm just trying to
I
get
used to
some
be
food
the head
so that we
coach
can,
of
I wanna dump out
101
this
for
water
a while.
and then fill it with
And
some
then I
water.
went
So hang on
to
a second.
coaching House League. So when OVRD merged, I was a co-coach of West Block, and we were like the underdog and coached my little heart out. One year we won the whole thing. Coaching West Block, I think, really helped with like the whole gameplay aspect and being able to break down the sport in a way that makes sense to people. I love the skating and I love strategy, but it's also like roles that you have on the track in those moments, and like how to discern, like how to make those decision making on your own without listening to the coach the whole game. Like you could be a team that plays amazing and your coach is on the sideline telling you what to do in the moment, or your coach can help you learn more about the gameplay and the strategy that you're comfortable making those decisions on your own. Like that's the coach I wanted to be. I wanted people to feel confident in their own awareness of the game.
Yeah, I loved your coaching style. Most recent practice was really, really helpful. The way you broke it down and you made it accessible for people like me who are like very beginner level, but I think you could scale it.
I like being able to scale the skills
Spray some
Yeah.
because I had a
Wanna put it in the
practice
middle?
plan made,
Oh,
and then there were a couple of skaters that I wasn't familiar with because I wasn't
Oh, it's
going to
rad.
a lot of All League on Thursday scrimmage nights because with all the travel and stuff, I just didn't get to know the most recent cohort of 101 as well. So when I saw some skaters, I wanted to kind of observe where they were at a bit more. And then I overheard two of our skaters just say, like, I don't get the pocket. And I know that's something our league works on a lot. So there's people who've been doing the pocket, which is like a baseline technique when you're individual blocking or working in your tripod. I can't imagine trying to do a whole practice, not understanding the skill and trying to feel successful. So I was like, okay, well, instead of doing just zoning, I was going to work on, let's build up the pocket a bit more. So I wanted that person to feel comfortable just like with the basic things. But then I am also very mindful, like there are people who've heard it a million times, and like here are the things that I work on in the pocket that could help kind of take you from like if it's intermediate to advanced, or if you're advanced more into like that, so to speak, elite level.
July 2023, I think I tried out for the skids, which is funny because I just said that I just went back to roller derby February 2023.
We had invited Maj to come coach Ottawa, and she came. But during that year too, somebody from Toronto, we were chatting about like taking a leave of absence during the summer because going to Toronto to practice once a week is a long shot, you know? And then he's like, well, why don't I just refund you like what you've already paid? And he's like, you know, why don't you just play with Montreal? It's so much closer to you. I'm talking to my partner, like, why not? Like, I would support you doing that. So we had Maj a second time, and she came with Falcon Punch, and
I guess she liked what she saw. And she asked if I would try out. It was this whole like, here's a million reasons why I don't think it'll work out. And then D-Ray's like, just say yes and figure it out anyways. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just kind of follow your stray cat vibes. And there was this whole conversation about what would it mean to be a DA, like a development athlete with the skids and like what that attendance requirement would look like and what would be expected of me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go practice with the skids. I probably won't get rostered. I'll just learn a lot. It'll be fun and cool. And then I got an email that I was a full skid. Like in the middle of the night, I'm just like laying in bed after doom scrolling on email. In disbelief, I couldn't sleep.
So I left TMRD, I played for a couple of months, decided to play for the Skids.
And what did being a full skid mean, like as far as practice requirements going and volunteer?
So you're expected to volunteer at all of the home bouts. I did that. You have to be on your committees. So I ended up becoming the head of sponsorship. It felt like a lot of responsibility. Like there was delegating and it was great, but it's just like more meetings for me when, as you see, I have my little one who likes to interrupt a lot of the things that I do. And then like the attendance requirement for practice, it's 75% for the status quo. But then you can also get exceptions. So I think I had like a 60% with 3 out of town practices. So when I first started, the attendance requirement applied to the current practice schedule, and House League had been finished at the time. So I think it was just 2 practices a week. And this is before I returned to work full time. I was still on an extended leave of absence because of childcare stuff. So I was able to like join the committees in Montreal, go to practice twice a week. I was on my committee with Team Ontario, head trainer in Ottawa, going to Team Ontario, Ottawa, Montreal, but I wasn't working full time yet. So it felt very doable. And I was happy to do it. I really was. That year, 2023,
They took a chance on me. It was really cool.
I remember like going to Boston for my first tournament with the Skids.
I forget which team I played my first game with. The whole weekend's a blur, except for playing Arch. Because you can't forget your first game playing Arch. Oh, I'm just gonna go start playing roller derby again. And by the end of the year, I played Arch. So that's really cool because I admire them a lot.
And that was a really fun experience. I roomed with Whips, which at the time I felt like I was nobody right at the time. It turns out like she's a very cool person to hang out with. We have a lot in common. She loves nature like I do. If you ever watch her Instagram, she's always picking like flowers and making bouquets, which is right up my alley. And I remember we were in the car having like a good conversation about worships and just like that nature lifestyle, doing it and not doing it. So I love that we connect about those things. It's not just derby. And I think that's the tournament we got to go to Dave and Buster's. It's kind of like a big arcade. They had like some sort of dance game, like DDR. So like we were all playing that. So I do remember Katie Kaboom having like a big dance off with K-Woo. Have you ever seen those games where it's like the wall of lights and then the light will come on and you have to smack it and you're going for like points based off of hitting it right, but if you hit the wrong button, I think it takes points off and it's time and you're trying to get as many points. I had the highest score of like the Montreal folks, and there was like one arch rival person who had a higher score than me.
I listened to our Charles podcast, Landscapes,
Yeah.
and I feel like they talked about it.
Yeah, they did talk about it. Because Dave and Buster's is the best. There's the Hungry Hungry Hippo game where you literally sit on a hippo and you get your hands on the handle and you're doing this crazy jerking motion to open the mouth and catch the balls. And you get a lot of points for Hungry Hungry Hippo. And like I was so jealous. Like Bigley kept getting all the points.
So what was it like playing with the Skids?
Amazing. They're also smart. They do their homework. They're a force to be reckoned with, like as you know, being like the 5th team in the whole world. And the magic about the Skids, it's not just one player, it's the whole team and what everyone brings together. Because like obviously they have a really strong core who's been doing it for a long time. But there has been a lot of flow in and out of the Skids, and I think it's often just like people's life circumstances. And I love it. I miss it.
What do you find the coaching style is like?
Jess Bandit is such a calm and focused coach. I think it really helps facilitate a calm and focused practice because it's funny to say like calm. Roller derby is not a calm sport. We're doing really hard things, but we should be able to play in a calm state of mind. And I think she really brings that. But she also brings like very intentional feedback, which is something that's really hard to find in the sport. You know, all the leagues are run by players. There's not a lot of coaches who aren't players overextending themselves, right? When you look at Ontario leagues, it's hard to find a league that has like just that's a dedicated person who coaches. Like you got Helsa and Tri-City has someone, but not a lot of teams have that.
What role were you playing? Primarily blocker, or were you pivoting as well for skids?
Oh, for skids, blocking all the way.
Right.
Like
Okay,
Maj
okay.
and Traz, they can do all the pivoting. I started in the pizza pack. It was waffle pack first. Traz, Lo, Cheese, me, Katie Kaboom. And then there was the snack pack. And then that was the season I joined. And then the following season, I was moved to be with Big Lee, Cam, Maj, and Katie came with me, which was really fun. She's the best. Katie is one of my favorite players to play with because she's such a reliable person, but also when it comes to energy, she's such a good person. She's calm. I find her grounded. She might not say that, but I do find her to be very grounding. I do love playing with Cam because of his intensity. I love Cheese Grater for her communication.
And this was the first like bracelet I made when I was a skid because I think this was in Boston. It says hippie squid because me and Grease and Gracie were just like two hippies in a pod because we're dorky.
Oh, and Shira Shakes, one of the best teammates you can ask for. Lo, I think would be my overall player. That's my favorite to play with because I think I never truly understood what it takes to be an incredible brace until I have her bracing me. It's just the way she commands a formation. She can shift people in position. I learned so many ways to like shift my own position on the fly just by working with her. So I feel like I've grown a lot and I've learned a lot so quickly just by being a butt in her formation. And she just kicks a lot of ass one-on-one, so that helps too.
Yeah, I closed my year of 2023 with the tournament in Montreal, and I got to play a lot. That was like, I would say like the peak of like my high level play in a way, just because I had been able to practice twice a week at the time, and like I was still doing Team Ontario. The tournament they had, Gotham was there. I got to play Gotham 2 nights in a row. We lost the first game. You know, that was hard. They didn't win the game. We lost the game. It was more about our performance and not their performance. And like the next day we got together and like Jess Bandit did like the nice sweet, we got a circle, we all had a string, and then how we were like visually like all stuck together. And she had us all say something really nice about the person next to us. And that was really nice. Yeah. So then we played Gotham and we won. But like I got to be out on like the starting jam because I was in the tripod with Lo and Traz, which she's doing offense. And it was a big moment for me. Like I remember we were down, and whenever someone's in the penalty box the jam before, like I'd be the first person to sit, or like me, I was always sharing that fourth spot. So it's either me or it was Katie Kaboom. So we take turns sitting, and I think this one particular jam, they decided to put me up in the tripod when we were down, and that felt like a good moment because like I could, all of our friends were there because Team Ontario was there. It's in Montreal. People from Ottawa came, and like sweet Angela and Luna, they made signs and everything, and I could hear them celebrating when they watched the switch out for me to go into the tripod. I'm like, that was a very nice memory. Yeah, it was nice to have like friends there. And then so I played Tri-City on the Sunday. So I got rostered for all 3 games, which was also huge. And then we played Tri-City, and then I went right out for a 4th game against Gotham B with Team Ontario, and we won that game. And I think, you know, when you look at like the statistics, we weren't expected to win, but we won by quite a bit. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
So you were playing for Team Ontario and the Skids on the same.
At the same time. And those are my 2 WFTDA charters.
Wow.
Yeah, because you can do that. Yeah, it's so crazy. Yeah.
You're so strong, but you're so fast and you're so agile. And how did you get to that point, or were you always just very agile and strong?
I have always been agile and strong, but not on roller skates. So I actually have a sports background. Like as a kid, I grew up playing sports, and I found my favorite sport to be touch football growing up. So there's a lot of footwork and agility in touch football. I wasn't allowed to play tackle football, though I think I would have kicked ass at tackle football. But then I was also just naturally strong. It's funny, I took like a 23andMe DNA test because I was gifted that for Christmas one year, and the results came back where I actually have like the genetic makeup of an Olympic powerlifter.
Oh, cool.
So I actually put on muscle mass quite easily, but I don't actually have to like lift that much weights to get that much stronger. It's just genetics.
It's that balance of being super strong, but also just really able to use it.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
true.
that's
It took a long time to get better at skating skills because I did not have a skating background. But yeah, that was always the thing when I started roller derby. It was like, yeah, the hits. Everyone loves the hits, but I do love the agility, and it's funny because as I progressed through roller derby and like out pivot or get thrown in as a relief jammer when I was playing on most of my teams, but then there was a year I was like, well, I'll block for the A team and jam for the B team, and people would always expect me to come in and hit, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna just like do some toe stuff. It's so fun. Just keep them guessing all the time. Right? Because jam, it's too hard to go in and hit all the time. You don't want to be touched. And now my motto is all flight, no fight, because I will like go and just like hit someone when I don't need to. It just seems like it's the quickest path, but it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's agile blockers, but
Well, the thing is, like, I also believe that if you want to be a blocker who individually can beat a jammer, you have to be just as agile and strong as a jammer.
if not more, yeah.
If not more. Like, the Falcon Punch came to coach with Maj, not last summer, but the summer before, and she said, it's my goal to be everywhere all of the time. And that was the day I was like, well, I'm going to be everywhere all of the time. And then we played board, and then I think it was Allison Bennett came up to me and was like, you were everywhere all the time. Manifested. That's what I wanted.
You're really good at manifesting. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I worked towards it. So that's the magic.
Some of our league mates were teasing you about having hard eyes when free training was here. You want to talk about your
So free training has just always been a jammer that I've admired. I think we have very similar like jamming styles. So it's been a bucket list of like being trained on jamming with free training. And I say this with emphasis because I went to Summer Fair like 2 years ago because there was MRDA spots still available last minute. And then once I saw Freight Train in the coaching list with Jackie Daniels and Mila Knockout and Coyote, it was like, take my money, let's go back to Ohio, even though we thought we'd never go back. Here we were, going to go get trained by Freight Train finally. Like at the time, maybe 10, 11 years into roller derby, and this is it. And then she did some blocking technique, which was fun. Like, I was like a kid who volunteers for everything in class. I was just like, I'll do the demo with you. I'll do fast laps with you. Just like, I got hard eyes. Because it's so fun. Like, I just love really good roller derby players. It's a good time.
So you were in the skids and then Team Canada tryouts?
Yes, and the tryouts happened while I was with the skids. So I think it was November. And Team Canada tryouts came around. It was easier because I already knew everybody and I knew the players and their style of play, which is huge. That's something I've been thinking a lot about because I've played on so many different teams in the last 2 years, is that so many teams have their different style of play and how I as an individual can either like step in to fill a role within that style or adapt my style to like feel the overall team goal. Team Canada tryout was really cool because I could still work with like the skid style of play, but I can also bring other people into it because it's a lot to learn on the fly when I was in practice, and I totally empathize with people just being thrown into a position to learn something new really quick. And I just knew I was blessed because anything I learned in skids practice, I still came home to Ottawa, and I was very mindful about trying to execute things here at like a slower pace because I need repetition when I learn things. So yeah, come tryouts, I don't know, I think it helped me as an individual skater in my like performance, being assessed and stuff, that like people can see that I'm working well with others. It's not just doing stuff with skids. I'm doing stuff with other players. Like we're setting up all the different strategies. You do have to be able to recognize in the moment, like your role in a play. When I'm thinking about playing online, let's say with like Traz and Lowrider, I know that they are the strongest as a pair. So if I'm gonna try and proactively position myself to be their bridge, let's say, like even if I have contact, like I know I can pass off contact so I can be the one to float out because they're stronger together, and you want to hold that, like that's your team goal is to win, then I'm going to help set up the play in a way I can to help the overall team goal. And then, like, funny enough, playing on the weekend at NEQ with someone like Spencer Sleep, I went to a practice and we're talking about after you is when you stand directly behind the person and you put your hands on them when they're chest blocking to slow down the momentum. And I remember going to pair block with Spencer, and he's like, brace me. And I'm like, yeah, bracing is when I'm kind of adjacent to you, bracing onto you. He's like, no, behind me. I'm like, oh, like after you? And he's like, yes, okay. So it's just like a style of play thing, right? And obviously communication too. Go through like a whole tier process of what somebody means. And when you skate with so many different leagues, or even when I played with Team Ontario, that was like a team of many different leagues. So you're all trying to find like the common language. So being able to have a conversation on the track, calm, trying to sort out what each other means and have it still work, phenomenal.
That was like 2024. I did regionals, and I started working full time again. I think November 2023. I got like an actual contract here in Renfrew. It was a day treatment program, and it was a lot of like behaviorally challenging experiences. It was a lot with parenting, and a part of me was like, wow, to train for champs, I know what it takes, because when you're with the skids, you see how much extra time you put in when it comes to like footage review, team meetings, off skate training. Like being present in person is huge. Like they actually shifted their schedule to be Sunday nights and Monday nights, and then the house league got added. So yeah, with the 60% of practice, now it's in 3 practices. It's not the 2 it was before. Now the 3rd practice is factored in, and missing Mondays was a huge contributor to like not being like fully present with the team. We have boundaries about like our scheduling where it's, Jordan will do what's needed for me to get to what I need to do for roller derby. It's great. And we share that like parenting role, but Monday nights is band practice night. And it has been for 9-10 years. And that's not going to change. And so when the skids had their Monday practices, I respected those boundaries. And because it's not just like what's best for me, it's what's best for the family unit, like we all lean on each other. So I wasn't really able to make Monday practices. So then sometimes I'd have to go on a Tuesday night, but then I'm working. So like if practice ended at 10, maybe I got home at like 1 or 2, and I still had to get up at 5 for work. And like I was working in a like really high stress environment. And so it really started to like obviously take a toll physically. And at the same time, like I had a lot of family support, but my aunt moved to Germany too. I think it was April or May that year. So it was like leading up to regionals. Like I was like, okay, well, my aunt and my mom used to like come over every other weekend, and that helped when I would leave every Sunday, and just like giving my daughter like, well-rounded experiences even when I'm away. Like I have to build that up because it's not about my success; it's about her success. My partner needs alone time too, so it was just a lot, and like not having my aunt around really impacted like what I felt like would work for the whole family. So then right after regionals, I think the skids had time off, and like, it was kind of nice not to feel the level of stress that I was feeling about like being present with Montreal. Like I'd be looking at like 2 hours and 50-minute commutes to 3.5 or 3 hours and 45 minutes, depending on the time of day and traffic and things. So it's like, well, like I loved it for my like alone me time, and I listen to podcasts, listen to music. I love singing in the car and stuff. But like when you're doing that commute coming home on a Tuesday night, I honestly I thought I was gonna die, to be honest. Like I was so tired. And I'm like, well, I can't do that. I've got my kid at home. gotta live for her, you know? Like what I do for work, being an educational assistant, like you kind of work with anyone and everyone in the schools. And during the time with the kids, like when I was working at this day treatment program in Renfrew, I actually got a contract as a child and youth counselor again. So like I've kind of yo-yoed between child and youth counselor and educational assistant a little bit in my career. And doing that program, it felt more manageable. It was a smaller class. It's still high stress. Like you get cussed out and assaulted. It is what it is. But it wasn't so bad in the day treatment program. Like for me personally, and I felt really good about it. And I felt like I could have done that and continued Montreal because also like our day would end early. It was an early start school. So I actually had time to come home and get ready and then go to Montreal. But once they decided to close that program, unfortunately, because of funding and stuff, I was going to be shipped off to Pembroke. And that's when I was like, well, I'm going to Pembroke with like the same level of stress with less money, or I can return because I had one more year of my leave and I had to say I'll return to Ottawa and do the EA work again. So then, yeah, come September 2024, I was working full time in the school in Ottawa, and I have a very busy school. Like it's kind of well known in the board that I have one of the busiest schools. Like we have a dual support program that it's older kids, dual diagnoses, and the level of risk is high because like emotional regulation is something that a lot of people struggle with in general, and then add dual diagnoses and like just the complexities of life, you just see it more on the daily. And then but like I also working in kindergarten, we had one of the most challenging kindergarten cohorts like I've ever seen. So like I got shifted to kinder in like October 2024, which is called the Kinder Chaos. Have a lot of trauma, and they're 5. They're also the cohort that came into existence during pandemic or where they were 1 years old during the pandemic. We're seeing a lot of interesting behaviors in the school board, but my school is very challenging. We got fences surrounding the property, but these kindergarten kids, they're climbing those fences, running towards traffic. It's terrifying. Or like kids who have no awareness of their safety. Like I'm literally just stopping them from accidentally hurting themselves like in a severe way.
You're literally chasing children all day.
I am literally chasing children. I would get up at 5 a.m. to work out because like leading up to Team Canada too, this is all part of it. I had to have my off skate training. So I'd wake up at 5, I'd do my workouts. And if I didn't get a workout in the morning for whatever reason, and sometimes it's my child woke up while I was working out, I would go to school and be like, all right, I am just gonna be sprinting with the kids all morning.
So very stressful day job.
Very stressful job, yeah.
Very physically demanding day job too. And yeah, all this commuting with the skids, Team Ontario. So I guess that's what led to your decision to leave the skids.
Yeah. So I knew I was going back to Ottawa for work. I just couldn't do Montreal while doing that job, and knowing that like I'm already commuting an hour to and from work every day. That I'm like, I cannot fathom adding like the long drives to Montreal and doing it all by myself. Like I wasn't doing that with anyone at the time. It's like when I did Team Ontario, I did it with Katie. TMRD, doing it with Katie. And it's so nice to have a friend to lean on when you're doing these hard things.
Are you comfortable talking about burnout?
Yeah, I am. Because like by December 2024, yeah, I was like so burnt out. Like the job itself, I think, led to a little bit of a extreme burnout because of what I do, because of the things I was hearing and seeing at the school. It was hard. And we've had like, you know, teachers burning out, they're taking leaves. Constantly somebody was off with stress or like illness, and you're short staffed at schools, but the demands aren't any less either. And I love my house. It's beautiful. I'm like got into this hyperfixation of like fixing it up. So I mean like that same December I like started renovating my bathroom before I had my like extreme burnout. Like I was still trying to renovate, doing all this, trying to stay like financially afloat while playing roller derby that requires like flights, investing in the house because it's investing in our well-being and her well-being.
And what does extreme burnout look like for you?
To be honest, there were days I was just like crying in the car on my way to work. Yeah, because it was hard. And like, you know, like obviously I'm like not sleeping well. Like I could feel my anxiety like manifesting in nausea. And like, now I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder in my early 20s, but never really did anything about it because I felt like roller derby was like the best thing for it. But now, like 10 years later, the way my life has shifted, I have so much more responsibility. Like, I'm trying to like keep her alive every day and care for a house. We talked about chimney fire we had, like things always pop up. Yeah, come December, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see my doctor. And the day before my doctor's appointment, my car died. You've driven this route. If you don't have a car, you can't live here. And we are a one vehicle family. Like Jordan has a work vehicle, but it's like there's some strict boundaries on that. So once my car died, like I think that was like the peak of the stress. It was like top notch dissociation. I just like had so much going on in my head, but like paralyzed in my body. The same time I like quit the skids was the same month I got my first batch of chickens. So I went from like one extreme to another. Like, oh, I'm all in with roller derby. Let's overwhelm my life with 3 or 4 teams, so much practice, so much volunteering, and then, oh well, I gotta fill that void with now I have 19 chickens. Crocus is a wild card. Crocus might kick her and peck her, right? Yeah. I'm not going to send Bean on a dangerous mission to retrieve your ball. Even you're afraid of Crocus sometimes. You want to send her there? I'm going to get your ball. And
well, for now he's chill.
For now he's chill. Well, like that's because he's down there.
Kind of closes his eyes once I start.
Or is he gonna peck me?
Oh, here, you pet him.
Oh.
Yeah. So like the last 2 days, I've just kind of been having slow mornings, trying to like force myself to relax. And both mornings, he comes around like, it's almost like he's looking for me. And I was like, do you want to snuggle? And then he lets me put him in my lap. And then we just sit there and he's like side cuddled.
I had no idea roosters like to cuddle.
Yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah.
Are you comfortable playing the meds?
Yeah. Like this is pretty intense because I started taking Zoloft and like, you know, you have your side effects that come with it. But because working in schools, in kindergarten, like it was germs galore. There was a time where we weren't sure what was going on with me physically. I was so dehydrated that like my body like started to like seize. Like, and then so I went to the hospital and yeah, just like treating dehydration and like mental health burnout and stuff like that. But like it was the night before the Team Canada practice in January and I had to miss that practice because like I started new medication. I'm constantly ill from children who spit in my mouth. Like it's gross. It is what it is. It's children, but they're children who are in my bubble all the time.
And when did you find out you made the roster for World Cup for Team Canada?
That would have been
Yeah. Okay.
That's not a lot of time from like extreme burnout to making the roster for.
No, it's not.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The meds cause heat sensitivity.
Yes.
So you've been also dealing with those side effects, and we've just had extraordinarily hot summer.
Yeah, we did. It's been a lot more challenging. I find like with the games in Ottawa, it's always so hot. Kind of manage in the moment. You know, if you're sitting down, take your helmet off, bring your cooling towels. I actually like heard when Austria was gonna be so hot, and it was so hot at school. I bought 2 rechargeable fans. I bought my neck fan, and I got one for the bedside because we didn't have air conditioning where we were staying. But it's been so hard. I remember I went to play a game with TMRD. I think that was in Rochester. And I remember taking a Star Pass, and I couldn't even understand why my legs just didn't want to like have a push in it anymore. And like I take this hit and I was like, oh, I don't want to be hit anymore. I'm just like, I feel like I'm exhausted, but it's like a different level of exhaustion. And I was like, okay, I don't want to get hit out anymore. So I looked, the jammer was coming and like my defense caught the jammer. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to hit the jammer out. So I did that, did a long run back. So like, I got to work smarter, not harder in these games when I'm feeling the heat getting to me. And like
Really?
putting on the star
Dad.
with
Yeah.
the Zoloft and the heat, like I felt like I'd
putting
overheat
the
so quickly and I
No, why
would
not?
feel so nauseous.
It's
So like I've
fun.
actively been like,
No.
okay, I did that. Now I need somebody else to take the
Why's it
pivot.
sad?
Your job is very physically demanding. Yeah. So is there ever that concern there that
Yes.
Gloves.
I was so
Go.
worried that I was gonna concussion before World Cup.
Hey, you
Like having
have
things thrown at
fun.
you, it's like one thing, but because towards the end of the school year, I was pulled between kindergarten and the dual support program. Unfortunately, there was an educational assistant who got a severe concussion. So then they were down staff. The teacher put in a work refusal because it was so unsafe. My own principal got a concussion. And then I was on like that emergency response team. So like they would call if we're keying up just to make sure people are not in the hall instead of like a full on lockdown. Because we don't want to scare people thinking there's intruders. If we said key up, it just meant like stay in your classrooms or making sure everyone's being safe, but you don't have to like worry about your own safety in your classes. So I was always worried about getting a concussion because yeah, 2 people had very significant concussions and this is all happening right before World Cup. So I'm like, I've got my mat training, but I know how to manage myself because of my experiences working in group homes. I just have like different types of crisis intervention and prevention training, and because I've seen what I've seen, I know how to protect myself, and I'm quite athletic and strong, so that helps too in moments if there's trouble. Because we have like with the older kids behavior management plans, like there are mats in place that we can use for protection. So if there's like projectiles, we can just block it. And like leading up to World Cup, there was a situation I got called into a room and literally I had a mat and I stopped a chair from being whipped at one of our guest principals. And I'm usually not the target though. I mean, okay, I say that. I am the target of 5-year-olds, but not the older kids. The little ones, they're going through so much chaos in their minds. And I could just walk outside, doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm going to walk outside and within 2 minutes, someone's going to come up and punch me. And it was like one of 5 kids. I have had whiplash from Derby and from work. So like my first time I got whiplash, I was actually training to jam for like the co-ed team in Ottawa. It wasn't Slaughter Squad anymore. And we were practicing against the All-Stars at the time. And I ended up getting hit and I was about to like fall off the track out of bounds. And then a player went to run me back. But on the way back, her skate tripped my other skate. So as I was like falling, his foot got swept under me. So like I went like that. So like my head hit the ground and like I felt fine. I didn't feel concussed, but then the next morning my neck was done. I went to work and so like I had to take time off. Like it didn't take much time. He said, I think you have a concussion. I was like, I don't think I have a concussion. I think my neck is messed up. My neck wasn't great, dealt with that. But then there was a situation like pre-pandemic. I was really in like a crisis situation and it was so high risk because it was outside near the bus loop. And like I thought I was okay because we had the fence between us at the time, but it's one of those like jump, punch down. And because I already had whiplash, I feel like my neck was a bit more vulnerable. And yeah, like I got a concussion and whiplash from that situation. It sucks. But at the same time, this is a child going through extreme emotional dysregulation. Like it's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's just a situation that happened. And I recovered. Now my neck's stronger than ever because I've been training it. So when I get high blocks in the MRDA, I could just keep skating.
You made it onto the team. You found out you were rostered. What was that moment like for you, finding out that you were going to Austria? It was amazing to find out that I made the roster. I know it was really hard for the coaches to put that together, and I knew that the decision was coming, so like I lost some sleep over it. But I have friends who support me, family who support me, and I live to tell the tale. I didn't just like die of anxiety waiting for the roster. So, but it was great to see my name on it. It's like, wow, the last like 12 years, it's really coming together. And so at Worlds, I played one of the 4 games we got to play. So I got to play against Black Diaspora. They're fierce. So many talented skaters. I was really excited to play against Hart. What a cool, fast, delightful person. There's like one play where, I don't know, I got knocked out and then I stepped on the track from lane 4 and like Hart came so fast. I was like, I gotta get there. And then by myself, I went and just like clipped Hart, sent them flying off the track.
I got a forearm, but it was like, I made contact.
That's amazing.
I don't know, they're just so fast. Like, I don't know how I got from lane 4 to like now Hartson, like out in the middle of the track. If only I didn't get that penalty, because I was really excited about the run back, and I think Maj was really excited about the run back. And anytime Maj is happy, everyone's happy. But it was a hard game, but it was a fun game for me. I mean, obviously it's World Cup. But I love moving bodies, and they made it really challenging. Like, I played mostly offense. Like, I love playing offense for Shira. That was the best. She takes such great shirt whips.
My little bracelet that our captain made for Team Canada in the Black Diaspora game when we had a timeout and a captain penalty. Someone was wearing that bracelet and it broke on the track. Don't wear your beaded jewelry on the track because that's a captain's penalty.
Very close to World Cup. Falcon Punch, Miracle Whips both got injured during the same game, and they were obviously on the roster for Team Canada. How did that impact you?
It's a team sport, and we've definitely thought about how it impacts the team. It's two of the best jammers with, like, you know, their skill level and the ability to put points up. But then, you know, when I was reflecting, I was like, actually, like, me and Whips, I feel like we really started to have something good going. And even when I played on the skids, like, there's a jam where, like, I'm bridging and then it's going to be like a points and call moment. And like, I could see that my blockers were about to be out of play. And like, I did not hesitate in that moment just to go back and like hit offense. And when she sees me, I think she commits to it. And I think she was able to grab like a quick 2 points before she had to quickly call the jam. And it's just like, we kind of have that connection. And I remember this one game where like I came out of the box and she just says, I saw you coming fast and I channeled your energy. And like, we've kind of got that, like, we just kind of like connect on a little bit of a rough and tumble spiritual plane. It's like, we're going in with full force. Let's go. She likes to follow me through and I'm kind of like going in, punching hard and stuff. And when we were at Team Canada practices, we got to practice that a lot. And we came up with this play called Hot to Go. It was really cute because like, it's kind of like traditional standard roller derby where you have your whole tripod and offense on the jam line. And then your jammer will assess the moment who they will take to play offense for them, because, you know, where's the opposing offense, where's the opposing jammer. And like when we were doing it in practice, often like she would take me and kind of just, because she would like tap your hips and you just, then you know you're going. So it would be like slightly delayed offense. She'd choose me and we'd go together and it was hot to go. And then like in hindsight, like I was really missing that opportunity to like execute something we practice as a jam start, where there's things that the coaches are coaching you to do, but then there's also the magic of like teammates coming together and like working with your best assets. I do love her.
You know, it was a tough loss for the team, but I do feel like Canada was very resilient and had a lot of willing and capable jammers wanting the shot at it too. And, you know, I'm actually really grateful that Pro and Raya got to be included on the roster too, because it was really fun traveling with them. And like, Pro is a riot. And honestly, like, I loved bombing down the mountain with those two. Favorite memories from World Cup. I mentioned bombing down the mountain. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw the pictures of the little trikes that are like low riding, like you're on a cool motorcycle. There's these little bikes and just go down the mountain. It's like 20 minutes of riding. And you have to hold the brakes the whole time, or else you're going too fast, like dangerously fast. You get a helmet, but nothing else. And there's cliffs. Bless her heart, grenade, like on the initial going down part before like the actual trail starts. I saw her lightly crash into the wall. And then not far after that, there's no wall. And it's just you're going off the mountain. So there's a lot of fear, but it was a lot of fun. And I think it's hilarious that all of the jammers that I was with were in the front going really, really fast. It's like, that's you. And then so actually in Austria World Cup, me and Katie DeBoom, we ended up staying until like 3:30 at the after party. We were the last two Team Canada players standing. And it was like time to go. So Katie goes and starts rounding up all of the cups that were left around, because there's a €2 deposit on each cup. And because the bar line was always so long, people just left it. So when it was time to go, she rounded out like 2 huge stacks, takes it to the bar, walks away with 35 euros. We get in the taxi. It cost 25 euros. She made 10 euros that night after dancing for like 4 hours straight. And then the next day, every single sound that I heard on the train and in Vienna sounded like EDM. And I was just like, how do I make it stop? It doesn't stop. Like one long night of EDM dancing, and you are like chemically rewired in your brain.
Now you're a big fan?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
You went to World Cup and then found out that you were going to play for the MRDA playoffs.
Yeah.
Katie and I went to Everett, Massachusetts to play in the North American qualifiers.
Well, if I was to think about where TMRD was in the rankings, I want to say like in the 20s. So we're not ranked high, but somehow we were invited to NAQ. It might have been that teams turned it down. They're looking for 2 more teams to join champ. And so like the champs seeding seemed to be pre-selected, maybe based off of rankings, which just seems ambiguous to me. But they already had a bunch of teams. So at NAQ, they were looking for 2 teams to fill for champs. And they invited 8 teams from North America. And like Toronto's the only Canadian team that got in, but we didn't find out till like July 29th. I was in the car coming from my house to go to the airport, and I got a message from Stevie about NAQ. And I was like, hey, like, are you getting messages? Because I just got one. Apparently, we're going. And there was no questions asked. It was like, are you available? Like, we're going. It's summer, right? I'm working education. I'm going. Dick and Stevie, who play with TMRD, they came to watch at World Cup too. And we were all staying in the same room. So we actually were watching our first game against Puget when we played them earlier this season together in our hotel room while we were in Austria. Well, I got to prepare for maybe playing with Team Canada, but also I got to prepare for NAQ mentally, emotionally, physically.
But it was the first time TMRD won in playoffs?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Because this is my first time going to MRDA playoff. They said they had been invited 3 or 4 times, and they've never won at playoffs until this year.
So you guys won 2 of the 4.
Yeah, we played Puget and lost, as expected. And then we played Philly. And because I played with TMRD before Skids, I think we might have won a game against them by 1 point that year. But then when we played them again this year, we went to a round robin and we played Puget and Philly and we lost both games. So I was like, this is really funny. Like, we're going to Everett, Massachusetts. We're literally going to lose against Puget. We can see that we'd be playing potentially Philly or this other team. And I was like, if we're playing Philly, like, we might lose again because we already lost to them this year. And then so I was like, okay, well, my brain's like thinking about the potential, how my weekend's going to look. It's like, okay, if we lose, that's cool with me because that means Saturday night, we can have a good time, celebrate being there, you know, being with friends. And then Sunday morning, we're just going to get in the car, you know, drive back to Renfrew. And then I'm going to have like all of Sunday evening with my family. And then that meant like all of Monday, I'd be just like ready to do whatever I need to do. Cause like we have renovations going on and stuff. When we beat Philly, I was like, oh, we're going to play tomorrow at 11 against, we found out it was going to be Pittsburgh Undead. And I was like, well, TMRD did play them, but I wasn't there. And they lost against that team. So like, okay. So then the game's 11. Okay, so like maybe by 3 o'clock we'll hit the road. But we won that game. I'm like, oh my gosh, now we have to play at 3 o'clock. And that's like 2 hours to prepare. Like we need to eat. We need to do like a loose warm-up. We're playing Puget again. And like we know now we are not going to win this game. And if we win this game, we're going to champs. And like none of us have this in the cards. We were not of the mindset of actually going to champs. We just wanted to go have a good time and play roller derby. You know, we're like the heart and spirit on this team of MRDA and just love for derby. And somehow we got there to that 4th game and we were exhausted by then, to be honest. A lot of us were just like, we already lived this 2 times this season and we're just like ready to be done. And that's when I was like jamming and exhausted and it was hard, but it was still fun. It's still fun to lose in roller derby. It's all about mindset, right?
I did score points against Puget. as a pivot turn jammer.
Hey.
Yeah, that was a good feeling. I worked hard for those points, but I did it.
Harding now back on the track for Toronto. Harding does have D-Ray as pivot to utilize if need be. Oh, Silent but Deadly going to the box, which means we will have a 2-minute jam. Oh, and there goes D-Ray to the box. Harding now pivotless, but able to get through.
Listen, Harding doesn't need a pivot. Harding is both pivot and jammer in
Sometimes
one.
It's nice to have a friend there. Just keep an eye out.
I mean, that's true. That is true. One night stand.
Nice bit of offense there from the Dictator.
This was the first time I played Puget out of the 3 games.
There was a point where you went down and you stayed down for a bit too because you were just feeling so unwell from the heat exhaustion.
Yes. In our 4th game, after a long weekend, playing roller derby, we played Puget again, and it was hard. And like Bosch had to go home. He had to fly back to Halifax. We didn't have him for that game, and he was wearing the pivot on our line most of the weekend. And so I was wearing it and I was taking a couple of star passes, and like with jamming, like I said, I could feel the heat really getting to me. But I passed the start too, and in that moment, I remember like I felt tired from the heat. I was taking weird hits in general. Like there was a particular skater on that team whose hits genuinely scared me. Like it was one of those things where there's hitting it strategically in roller derby, or like there's power that's like undeniable and it's exciting, but like I felt like this person was hitting to hurt people. So like after jamming and then getting tired with that in mind, like I remember I fell and like my knee pad slid. I got this bruise starting on my knee, and at the same time, like my body fell a little forward, and then a person, like their body was there, and my head hit them, and I kind of like my head snapped back a bit, and then I was like, oh, I really don't know if I'm okay. Like I'm overheating, so a little nauseous. I have a history of whiplash from like roller derby and work, so like I'm nervous about my neck. And like in that moment, it felt like a really long moment of trying to process like, what do I need to do? And I forgot that you could just skate off the track and let the jam run. But I was like, I just can't think right now, so I need to stay down. And I told the ref, I need to stay down. And they were like, okay, thanks for telling me. And they called the whistle off, but I was so anxious in that moment. I got up so quickly and fled to the medic. It wasn't like I had to stay down because I had a serious injury. Like I should have crawled off the track and let the jam run, but I couldn't think in that moment. Like there's just a lot.
I think you did the right thing.
I think I did the right thing for me, but like for the flow of gameplay, I don't know. I'm a little hard on myself because I watched that jam and I'm like, this is a little silly. Game could have gone on.
I understand how it could feel dramatic, but in the moment, especially if you're not in the right state of mind and like not sure if you had whiplash too,
Yeah,
that's scary. And
Yeah.
possibly contest.
yeah.
So no, I think you did the right thing.
Another thing. It's only in the MRDA where I really find myself in those moments. Like there was one time I got hit so hard right in the face. He high blocked me with his shoulder coming in at full speed, and I went like up, and then he followed up with like a forward chest punch and like leveled me, and I fell, and I was just like, that was so egregious. And I remember being on my hands and knees, and I was holding my face because it hurt, and then like I looked up at the ref, and the ref held his own face.
Daddy, what?
And then skated away. I was like, how are you not calling the high block? Like, it was so obvious. And I stayed down for a moment, but then I just got up and skated. Like, I shook it off. I meant I should have stayed down.
Probably, yeah.
I think it was the Philly game at NAQ. You can see in a jam when the jammer fell and he would like stand up to charge. There's one jam where I go to like do what I do and I kind of stand really close to them, being like, there's no space for when you stand up. I'm already in your space. So I was like waiting, and like you could see I did a little bit of this because I was like, I don't know what you're gonna do when you stand up. I'm nervous in my face, and I did it in one jam. But then there came another point where I was like, it's on you. It's not you to hit me in the face, you know. So I did the same thing, but decided I'm not gonna like use my hands to cover my face. I'm gonna keep my hands down so I'm ready just to be chest blocking in those moments. And you actually stood up and nailed me right in the face. But it was like on the turn next to the audience.
everyone's like, oh, and the call was immediate.
Mama.
I think we may have had a timeout. Anyways, D-Ray's like, we don't need to be sacrificing our faces or anything. And how did you know that I did that? Like, obviously I got hit in the face, but how did you know I was mindfully being okay with sacrificing my face? Because before I was like, I'm here, but I'm going to protect my face. And in that moment, I chose not to. It's like, whatever. I've been hit in the face so many times in Derby and at work that I can take it.
You don't skate with a visor, eh?
No, I've
Oh.
never even tried it, to be honest.
So-
I've been hit on the nose with visors, and that's no fun. My nose is already misshapen from roller derby.
It looks normal.
There was a practice with CCD back in the day. My coach, Red, he was a Team Canada skater. He was practicing with us. And it was just this weird, unfortunate moment where he did this thing that he does, where he'll like do that spin with your back to the line to do like the hockey stop and turn. At the same time, I was recycling and I was backward skating, turning my body, and we were both literally just turning around into each other's spaces. And his helmet smashed me right in the nose, right here. So if you look closely, there's a bump there. And you could really feel it. Do you want to feel it?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I feel it?
You can feel it. You feel like a hard bump there? Yeah, it's from getting hit in the face. Literally. I also have this like scar tissue on my lip from the last time Team Ontario scrimmaged the Skids. And I took a star pass and I was getting out by the inside line, and bless her heart, lowrider came to do the bone shaker, but the elbow pad came up a bit and like whacked me in the face. But you know how like the elbow pads have those like circles on them that are like metal? It cut my lip and I had to stop for a little bit to manage the bleeding, and then I just threw on a mask and finished the game so I don't bleed on people. Now if I wear lipstick, it's like the most obvious thing because like the color doesn't take as well. You see the bump there.
Hardcore.
And that was like the Sunday right before school started in September. So I had to show up to work with this huge fat cut up lip, and nobody wanted to ask.
Mommy.
Do you deal with any fear about getting whiplashed again? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because I have to come home and parent.
Yeah.
And like that's, if I have any anxiety about getting hurt, it's not about like being able to do my job, because to be honest, I like what I do for work, but there are things in place. Like if I need to take stress leave or like my own time off, I can be doing what I need to do to recover. But like I need to help my kid. I need to help her grow and learn. And I want to be present. I don't want to have like the moodiness that comes with concussions, because I've been there. Like I felt like after I got that one concussion at work, it took me a while to even just like get my sense of humor back. And honestly, like it was when she was born, I feel like I started to get my sense of humor back. She was so funny.
Because it's in Toronto and you go when you can, you're not always playing with them every week. So probably a bit more challenging if you have less time with them. Yeah, not having a lot of time to practice with the team, I think, does make a difference. And had we been able to practice like once a week minimum together, I think like we would have come out maybe even more evenly matched with Puget. Not like winning, but close to. We have a skater named Bosch, and he actually flies from Halifax everywhere we go. I'm thinking about our line that we played this past weekend. Me, Spencer, Bosch, and then we had like Billy the Kid or Curly or Starscream filling in too. And these are not people I consistently train with, but I think because we all have good individual skill sets and game awareness and strategy and communication as our baseline, it's a lot easier to come together. And I think we all just have a good growth mindset too. We're lifting each other up. We genuinely love the sport, which makes a difference. Just working with Spencer, that's the thing, right? Like he's a one-on-one kind of monster, but like a gentle giant. It's hard to believe because when you watch him hit, it's not very gentle. But like, yeah, there were moments in the games where it was like, my role right now is to be pack maintenance, so Spencer can just continue doing like the most full hits on the other jammer. And I'm just watching, actually laughing on the track. I felt so bad sometimes for some of these jammers, but you know, I was also tired, so I was like, well, if you can just do this one-on-one, I'm gonna take a beat, just watch and bridge. I got it. And talking to the pack up ahead, saying, you know, you come back and bridge too.
and he likes doing one-on-one in the back. So eventually, if the jammer gets by, we're just gonna funnel. It's okay. And you've got these different styles of play that it's just fun because I think it keeps me on my toes a bit more, makes me more track aware, and I like that. So we got new jerseys with Toronto, and Spencer's is already ripped at the back, and he tried to blame it on me. Though I'm not sure if it was me or not, because I'm pretty sure I took several sure rips off Spencer, even as a blocker, because like I'd go hit somebody out, and with just like the mass of the skaters, some of them are bigger people, RDA. So then I'm like compensating, trying to muscle my way through, and I lose my balance because I'm clumsy, and I'm like, Spencer, good, and I like use his jersey to keep myself in bounds, and I like launch myself for a run back. Those moments feel fun, but maybe I did rip his shirt. He said he'd bill me. Don't bill me, please. I personally take the whole position where I'm just grateful to be there, because not everybody does have opportunity to play like higher level roller derby, or even to even play roller derby is not the most accessible sport, right? So, and traveling the world right now, it's not, and not everybody feels safe to do so, and I know I have that privilege. So anytime I'm playing, you know, I love roller derby, I can't be anything but grateful, and it also keeps me accountable to like enjoying my time while I'm away, because it's a big sacrifice to leave home to travel sometimes.
What's next for you in roller derby?
It's a question that I don't know how to answer because I don't know what's next for me, like at work. I don't know what's next for me when it comes to like, you know, Juniper's
They're all hiding.
growing demands. She's got to have hobbies too soon. She's gonna want to do extrakurriculars, and I want to chase high level roller derby when I can. I love it. So like TMRD is perfect because there's no attendance policy per se. If I'm not traveling a lot for roller derby, like with Team Canada or Team Ontario, I can give more time to TMRD, and that's fun. As long as Katie's still interested in going to TMRD, I'm interested in going to TMRD. I don't want to do those kind of commutes by myself. It's just nice to have that as a shared experience with someone, and like I care for her so deeply, like I wouldn't choose anybody else to do it with. And like, could I try it for like men's Team Canada? I could. It doesn't feel super accessible right now, considering like World Cup is during the school year, and like it's quite financially demanding.
Manifested. That's what I wanted.
You're really good at manifesting. That's what I'm hearing.
I feel really intense about roller skating. Why do I feel intense about roller skating? Because when I get on my skates, I either feel like I have a job to do or I have zoomies. Like I'm either like elated and want to go fast and just like bug my friends, or it's like, we have a job to do. You're gonna go crush people. Very contrasting, but both I feel very intense.
Not to fall, there's so much